Hi, my name is Nick and I'm part of the Box Professional Services team. In this tutorial we're going to cover cURL. If you've watched the Postman tutorial, a lot of this will sound very similar. So to start off, we're going to go to developers.box.com/docs, and we're going to cover two very basic commands. First is to list the items in a folder, and the second is to actually upload a file into a folder. So first we're going to cover how to actually get the items in a folder. So we're going to go to the folders endpoint and select retrieve a folder's items. And the first thing you'll notice on the right hand side of the screen, all of our sample requests are actually provided in cURL, which makes this tutorial fairly straightforward. So switching over to our terminal now, we're going to make a request to the folders API. And I'm going to actually start off on my root. So I'm going to provide a folder ID of 0. I'm also going to limit the response that comes back to 100 items with an offset of 0. And this just helps me paginate through the list of items that I get back in case I have a lot of items. Next, I'm going to provide an authorization header. Now, we're not going to cover how to actually generate this in this tutorial. We'll kind of cover that in subsequent tutorials, but hopefully you have that available. And after we make this request, you'll notice that we get a 200 response back. And in the body of the response, we get back a JSON response with all the folder information, file and folder information. Now to upload a file, go to the Files endpoint and select Upload a File. And in here you'll notice that we actually need to provide the actual folder ID of where we actually want to upload the file into. Luckily we did the folders API previously, so I know where I have that information readily available. So once again we're going to do a cURL request. This time we're going to actually go to the uploads. Once again, we're going to provide our authorization header. And we need to specify the actual file name. And we also need to specify the folder ID of where we actually want to upload this content into. And in the response, you'll notice we get a 201 response back, and we get information about the actual file itself. If I go back into my Box account, see that that file was actually uploaded. So it's well and good for kind of basic commands, but let's try and automate this a bit. So I actually created a simple upload script. It takes 3 arguments. The first is the bearer, or the authorization information that I need to provide in all my API requests. The second is the path within Box of where I actually want to upload content into. And then the last argument is the actual file that I want to upload. And this script just basically uses the 2 commands that we went over. First thing it does is it actually loops through on the folders API to figure out the file ID or the folder ID based on the path that it was provided. And in here you'll notice that I actually piped this into a JSON script, and I'll show you how to get that in a bit, because it actually makes this much easier to parse out that information. And then assuming I have the actual folder that I want to upload into, it does that same upload API to actually put the file into the folder. And it checks to make sure that I get a 201 response back. Now that JSON script is actually available at json.org. There's actually a link if you click on API Basics. You click on JSON. And at the very bottom of this page, there's a bunch of libraries to different various languages. The one I'm using is under Bash, under json.sh. If you want to try the other one, feel free to experiment with that. So now let's see the script actually run. I'm actually going to upload this into the client B folder, and I'm actually going to just upload this script. And we'll notice that the upload was successful. First time you notice it failed because it couldn't actually find the client folder. Slight typo on my part. If I go back into my Box account and I go into the client B folder, you'll notice that the upload script was actually created today. And that's it for today's tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at api@box.com.